It's about time we did this, guys. It's finally here. It's the Ringside Apostles show, the debut premiere episode, and we're hitting it off with a big episode. We're doing the 2020. Don't you love that saying? 2020. We're doing the 2020 The Apostle Awards, and we're giving our best and worst awards in various categories in the wide world of professional wrestling. Joined by me, finally, the Sean and Sean show got together. Sean Puffy Timas, what's up, man?
Chilling, man.
Good to see you, my friend from Boston, New Bedford. All right, and let's go with Destiny. We've seen her before at the San Diego Comic-Con wrap-up show, among other things. Nice to see you, Destiny.
Hello, YouTube.
Smash that hit and like and subscribe button right now.
Right?
Oh, man. I love it. And finally, Sean Farrell has come to the Ringside Apostle show. What's up, my man?
Good evening, everybody. How we doing?
Good. And it looks like you're
wearing a mask.
The mask is in the mail. It's coming. Don't worry about it. Yeah, mask, hat, be good. A gimmick on a gimmick. We can do it.
Episode 2, looking like Waylon Mercy, man, looking sharp. You look like you're on your way to a pro wrestling event. Are you on your way to NXT or Dynamite tomorrow?
Oh, maybe. No. Maybe we'll see. Oh.
Awesome. All right. Now that you know the Ringside Apostles, we'll have many more as the weeks go on. Our goal is to do this twice a month, maybe eventually every week. We'll have JD, Tony, Anthony, the whole crew, especially Felipe and Gene. No, I'm just kidding. They ain't joining them. All right, let's get right to it, guys. Our most missed wrestler of the year, Jinder Mahal.
Saying, don't hinder gender.
Hey, look, no theme song slaps like Genders.
That gym music, though. No, but we're making fun. But really, our most missed wrestler. I had another, but after the tragic loss this past week, just a few days ago, actually, of John Huber, is known as Brody Lee in All Elite Wrestling, and also wrestled for several years under the moniker of Luke Harper of the Wyatt family. And yeah, he definitely gets this honorable mention. Actually, he doesn't get the honorable mention. He gets the award for most missed, and he is newly missed. Sean Farrell, what's going on? What do you think? I mean, we want to say something about, I know you're a longtime wrestling fan, about Mr. John Huber.
I've seen John since Shakara, back when him and Cesaro were feuding when, Cesaro had hair. It's been a long time. He came up, no one's got a bad word about him. And, it's way too soon, way too quick, and he'll truly be missed. And it's like the tributes last night on Raw were quiet and subtle on there, and I'm sure AEW's going to pull out all the stops the next couple days. And it's a rough time to lose somebody. It's always a rough time. It's always too soon. And my heart goes out to his family and his friends and his fans.
Yeah, Destiny, what do you think? The Exalted One, he was just about to really hit waves. He had that big match with Cody. He was the TNT champion for a little bit, and then really gave the rub really to Dark Order. It's one of the most loved factions in wrestling right now. And even though they've been the highlight of being the Elite every week, just about, we still were wondering in the back of our heads after watching 20 minutes every week, where is Mr. Brody Lee? Like he's kind of the, he was the guy who kept the wheels rolling on those segments. You want to share some thoughts on Mr. Brody?
So especially sad because, like you just said, it was like he was finally getting to break out, and so the world could see what he could truly do. I met him a couple of times, and both times he was a genuine sweetheart. I met him once when he was still doing Ring of Honor. I met him while he was with WWE. Great guy. And like Sean said, I've never heard anyone say a bad thing about him. And like my Twitter timeline has just been tribute after tribute after tribute. And honestly, my future ex-husband Big E's thread just broke me. And he's still posting stories. Like every couple of minutes, Big E will post something else, and it's like this close to making me cry. It's just way too soon, and it sucks that one of the good ones is gone.
Yeah. As Sean in the chat, Sean Farrell, you mentioned that you know, a lot of wrestlers have died. It's been a tragic year, of course, across just everything, every country, in every which way. And we lost a lot of wrestlers in professional wrestling, but I've never seen any wide support like this, especially on social media across all promotions. And Sean Puff, I mean, how do you feel about that? It's almost like WWE and AEW kind of being on the same page with this. And it's kind of ironic because Brody Lee's persona was Vince McMahon, but he did, you know, he was so well loved in that locker room despite that angle, and that, you know, they still kind of went out of their way on social media, especially in slapping something for him.
I think part of it is just because of how it happened. Because look at it, it's like what's his name? I forget his name. Black Panther.
Chadwick Boseman.
Nobody knew that he was sick and dying. So when it hit people so hard. The same thing just happened with John Huber. Nobody knew it was coming. He's been gone, and they're like, oh, he's just dealing with some things. But we didn't really know that he was sick to even know this was, you know what I mean? It wasn't like it was something like, oh, this guy's sick. Well, I want to say if we knew that he had a lung issue, with just the fact that COVID's going on, we probably wouldn't have been so shocked about it. But the fact that it was something that wasn't said, it was just like, oh yeah, he's dealing with some stuff. He'll be back soon. You know, we'll let you know what's going on. And then out of the blue, boom, he dies. I think that's what really made it hit people and made everybody everywhere like really take notice of it. Just that fact that it was so out of the blue and unknown, and it just they kept it a secret between a very small group that knew what was going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly. Anyone else want to share any thoughts on Mr. Brody Lee before we spice up the show and give some awards out? But he does deserve our attention at this point.
I'm giving him a push in 2K19 because I still play 2K19 because 2K20 was garbage. He's getting a big push right now. I'm redoing his whole thing. I'm giving him a whole outfit and giving him a huge push. He's getting shot to the moon.
I will say this though. What's funny is I've always made jokes about Luke Harper because my sister's husband's name is Luke Harper. So my sister actually thought her husband died on social media, even though he was in the next room, probably sleeping or playing Xbox. And I was like, no, it's John Huber, AKA. And then, so I actually text the real Luke Harper and was like, you know, just letting him know, like, that it's okay. It's okay.
It's not you.
Yeah, it's not you. So we got a little laugh about it, but even then, they, you know, even though they're not big wrestling fans, just for the name alone, Luke would go out of his way to find the action figure in the store and kind of take pictures and send them to me and say, hey, look what I found. I found my action figure. So at least we have that connection there. But there was another wrestler I want to point out because I actually met her this year, or met her maybe technically, was it? Yeah, it was this year, very early this year, almost right after the new year. Hana Kimura. And that was just as devastating for a different reason. Very tragic. And actually, I haven't watched any Stardom since. I haven't been able to get myself to watch any of it. I know Kaiko kind of throw some posts on, and shout out to her, and kind of follow her on social media just to kind of see what's going on. But it's really tough, especially after meeting her. She was so cool, and watching her match at Wrestle Kingdom, as you can see behind me, at Wrestle Kingdom 14, she had that opener, kind of a dark match. So that was really an amazing moment, having women at our New Japan show. And she was just ready to hit that Stardom, having the reality show. And of course, we don't have to get into all the specifics of everything that happened. You know, it's a bad topic, but I just wanted to mention that. Destiny, some quick thoughts on Hana as we'll give her a shout out?
So same. I haven't been able to watch any Stardom either since then. I still follow what's going on, but I haven't been able to actually go to Stardom World and watch. I had to delete Terrace House off my Netflix list because I can't watch that show now knowing what happened.
Hell no.
It's it was, and it's so weird because we probably thought when it happened that was going to be the most devastating thing in the wrestling world of 2020, but Jesus, just
2020's got to go out with a bang. It couldn't just go out nice and easy and quiet. It's been a hell of a year. I mean, it's crazy.
All right. Well, it's a hell of a year. So let's talk about the stuff that actually was fun, was cool. Shout out to Brody and Hannah. You will be missed. But we've got some, lots of things. And speaking of 2020, fuck the rest. It's our best tag team of the year. Our award went to
the Sean and Sean Show.
The Sean and Sean Show for not doing that damn thing in 2020. No, went to the Revival. Fear the Revival. Fuck the Revival. Fuck the rest. Whatever. Fuck the Revelation. All this, all this stuff. But yeah, FTR made the big move from WWE, kind of mid card, kind of almost a comedy act at one point after being one of the best pure technical teams in NXT. Really, in WWE, they didn't really get a whole lot of chance to shine. And then they went to AEW. Finally, we've been wanting this for a long time. And yeah, they certainly hit the mark. They've had nothing but stellar matches. Some of Dave Meltzer's biggest wrestling ratings of the year involved matches with FTR. Sean Farrell, any comment? Is it Sean Farrell or Sean Farrell?
Farrell. That's all right. You call
Farrell,
me.
okay.
Late dinner. I don't care what you call me. It's fine.
All right. The Bear City Bruiser.
When despite the poor program with the Bucks that we all wished and hoped for and dreamed for and waited for, despite that, they still put on a great match every time they were out there. And it's in a year where a lot of teams stepped up, they were still, the benchmark, and they haven't given up yet. They're having on TV lately, but this whole they are the Revival, they are the benchmark, they are the bar, and everyone's chasing them, and they're going to chase them for a while.
Yeah. Sean Puff, any thoughts on FTR winning the best tag team?
I kind of just agree with what Sean said. These guys set the bar. I feel like they could have done a little more, but with 2020 and the way that everything went, it kind of just screwed so much up this year. I think 2020 is going to be an even bigger year for them. Hopefully, I feel like by mid-year we'll have crowds back. Things will be able to be done a little differently. So I think 2021 is just going to be a better year for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if they get the award again next year, to be honest with you, because I feel like their growth was just stunted by 2020.
Yeah, and Destiny, FTR to defend this choice, there was about 2020 tag teams in AEW they had to go up against, and they did a good job with that balancing act they got over there with only really one major show and just tons of tag teams coming in and out, and it hasn't stopped. And speaking of that, I want to mention a couple honorable mentions. I'll talk about them with you right now, Destiny. Is Young Bucks were my choice. Only in FTR would have been my choice if I didn't count the fact that the Bucks have really gave everyone on the roster the rub. It's almost like every week, I know it's the Young Bucks. Yeah, you're sick of them. They're always on TV and all. They got books and children's books, and they're part of the management and all that. I get it. But every week they're bringing up these new people from AEW Dark straight from the indies and making them look capable and making them look like regular roster. Would you agree with that? And then also touch on our official honorable mention, which was the Street Profits. Go ahead, Des.
All right, so definitely agree with you in regards to the Bucks. They're great. They'll always be great. And they're definitely, and because they're EVPs, they're in that position where they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. Because if they win everything, then, so you're just going to bury everybody? But when they're losing, so you didn't go to WWE so you could job to everyone?
Exactly.
But yeah, no, Bucks are great. FTR is great. I fucking love the Revival. Can't wait for the Impact deal to do more stuff because I really want to see FTR versus the North. I want to see FTR versus the Machine Guns.
Great points.
Oh man, like Kaiko and I said in similarly when about the Impact deal a while back. it makes you uncomfortably aroused just thinking about it. Sploosh.
So we'll talk about the Impact deal in a little later when we talk about our various moments that happened in 2020. But what about just a quick note on what do you think of Street Profits winding up with the honorable mention coming up from NXT and they kind of had some really silly backstage things. I'm not really watching too much main roster WWE. I'll admit that right now. But from what I know, the Street Profits have been pretty hot lately and doing pretty well. What do you think about that?
Oh, Street Profits are great. Street Profits are great. They're fun. They're fun. They're talented. I'm surprised that Vince hasn't tried to break Montez out as a singles wrestler yet. Because you know how he loves to break up a tag team. But I'm sure that'll probably happen sometime in 2021. But until then, enjoy the ride. They're doing great. And they've kind of adopted Big E now that he's broken away from New Day, and and he's at his best when he gets to play off his goofy friends. So he gets to keep doing that with Street Profits. It's pretty fucking great, also, actually.
Awesome. Puff?
I hate the goofiness. I can't stand it, but I do love the Street Profits, so I'll let it go. Again, that's a team that I think has so much. Both of those guys have so much potential. I just hate the goofy shit, so that kind of pulls me away from it. And I'm not even gonna get into the Young Bucks, but I'm sure me and Sean can do a Sean and Sean show and tell you how we really feel about the Bucks in the future.
Sounds like Ms. TV. All right, speaking of craziness, the best stable of the year now. I'm not watching Raw, but this one, Ringside Apostles voted for the Hurt Business. Puff, I'll get you talk about them.
I think so. Before I even get into them, I think it was close, and I think part of the reason why they could have lost if this was maybe a day later, the voting, because people had already started voting. If voting came in a little bit later, the Dark Order might have pulled this one off because of everything. I'm just gonna say that they could have pulled it off. It was really close. Hurt Business has just been so successful. You look at them as a team. Like some of them, even when you look at Wikipedia, Hurt Business is connected to the Beatdown Clan, so it's kind of like a next generation of what was the Beatdown Clan. But these guys have come in and done everything. They've got the tag titles. They've got the U.S. title. I think eventually we're going to see Ricochet join this crew. What I like about the Hurt Business is they are everything that black wrestlers in the WWE have never really been. They're not a joke. It's not the Nation with the whole Black Power gimmick, because that was just too gimmicky. They're serious, actual wrestlers that are legit challengers for titles. Like, you can't take these guys as a joke. You got to take every one of them seriously. Cedric, you guys know I hated Cedric. I love Cedric as part of the Hurt Business. I love his heel persona. I love what they're doing with this faction, and I hope we see more of the Hurt Business put the goddamn world title on MVP. I'm just saying.
Sean F., you watch WWE. What's up with the Hurt Business, man?
You have MVP comes back at the Rumble as a surprise, and I wouldn't say he's lost a step in the ring, but his time away, his in-ring skills have lessened, but his mic skills have always been impeccable. He's a wonderful mouthpiece. You can't deny Bobby Lashley being the force that he is. Shelton Benjamin has always been the gold standard, no matter what company he's at, and they made Cedric Alexander relevant. I mean, they're holding gold because they are unstoppable. When they're right, they said they're. What are you doing? They are.
Yeah, my chair.
They're not Crime Time. They're not the Street Profits. They're not New Day. They're not Goofy. They're just 4 ass-kicking machines that are just there was no gimmicks, no laughs. It was just victory. That's all it was. And then at 2021 looks to be the same. It's gonna be pretty wild this year. I can see it.
Sounds dope. Just to touch on the honorable mentions, of course, Puff mentioned the Dark Order. They had a great second half of 2020, except for exactly what of the tragedy had just happened, but really blew up. The first half, people were, especially late last year, people were calling for their necks, wanting the necks of Cody and the Bucks, wanting the Dark Order to be disbanded, and Patience won over, and the Dark Order proved to be one of the most enigmatic enigmatic factions of the year. And then also, I got to say, the first half, this was not on our list, but the first half of 2020, right when that pandemic happened, the Inner Circle kind of kept the AEW business afloat there with us, the Stampede and the various members. And then how can anyone forget the Brady Bunch different segments, and then loving they're exchanging phone calls, Jericho's in his kitchen calling Hager, and then they call Ortiz and call Santana and Sammy, and those little Zoom calls they did was really fun. They had a lot of fun segments. I think towards the end of the year, they kind of, once they threw MJF and Wardlow in there, it was more of like your standard wrestling interfaction problems, like nothing. It wasn't as extravagant as it was under the quarantine, but Inner Circle definitely had an amazing year for AEW. All right, let's touch on.
Wait, before we move ahead, I want to say this. Let's watch the Dark Order this year, because here's the other side of that. They had a lot of momentum, right? And they really turned up the second half of the year. Now this whole thing with Mr. Brody Lee could either hurt them or it could push them even more, because now they have to replace them. They're gonna have the eyes on them. So this whole thing could really push the Dark Order to another level that we never even thought we were going to see them go on off of this tragedy. Hopefully we see that happen, because I would really like to see them shine off of it and get that posthumous Mr. Brody Lee rub. I'm just saying. Yep.
And it's possible that Hangman could join as well. So Hangman has kind of been teased through the whole year. He's been excellent in segments. Just one of the, he kind of just was that quiet ROH boy, school teacher. And now he's probably the best actor in the whole show. So really terrific. Shout out to Hangman. And so we'll see. It'll still be interesting regardless of everything that happened. But all right, new category, best celebrity guest. It isn't Shaq. Not Shaq. Let's get it out of the way. I don't know. Our honorable mention was not Shaq. Okay.
That's so great.
I'm a huge basketball fan. I'm a huge NBA on TNT fan. And now that I kind of been watching AEW on the TNT app instead of one of these illegal pirated websites, I'm seeing a lot of stuff that, I can actually stream the NBA. I can watch inside, because I didn't have cable forever. Now I can watch inside the NBA again, which I watched growing up, with Barkley, Ernie Johnson, and Kenny Smith. I'm a huge Shaq fan, but yeah, I agree. Shaq, when it comes to wrestling, at least the last couple of attempts, no bueno there. But
he's too goofy.
What's that?
Like, he wants to have fun and be goofy, and I get that, but it's just, don't do it in the wrestling ring. Be goofy, have fun with your friends. I get it, you love wrestling, but keep your goofiness away from it. It doesn't need to be there. It's just, it kills it. There's no
reason. And I totally get what AEW wanted to do. He's a big star. It's TNT. It made sense, but the execution was not there. Hey, not all ideas work. So, but one idea that we never thought in a million years would work, that speaking of goofy, I couldn't stand this guy, world famous podcast, NFL punter, Pat McAfee is our best celebrity guest. And this guy kicked ass. Sean, it was the best wrestling performance from a celebrity since what was that running back that we that kicked ass in Impact?
Oh shit.
Played for the Falcons.
Yeah.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man, not Pac-Man Jones. Pac-Man Jones was in Impact too, but not him. I know what you're talking about. I forget his name. He was a running back.
Yeah. Well, anyway, someone talk about Pat McAfee while I look that up.
The funny thing is, when he came out, I joked about it and was like, watch this guy end up being nasty. It's because everybody hates him. But it fits in kind of because he's a punter. He's so easy to freaking hate. So it's just a natural. It fits perfectly. I'm happy with what they did with him. Now I hear rumor and innuendo is that he's been taken off of NXT TV.
Ridiculous.
But I don't know. It came from that rag website that I'm not even going to mention their name on here because it's all
The Torch.
Right? Not that one. The other one. The one with H. Jenkins, who blocked me on Twitter. But rumor and innuendo is that he got cut from there. But I also heard that it could be because they want to use him on Raw. Which I mean, I could see it. I mean,
it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense since he was such a huge. I mean, look, he made Lorcan and Birch. Incredible.
So
And those
excited.
guys were a fun opening match tag team, but he made them a main event draw, man. They had some tremendous matches. And McAfee did his thing in War Games. And he did his thing in the singles match against Adam Cole. Again, the best performance since D'Angelo Williams. That's the guy. D'Angelo Williams.
D'Angelo Williams. There you go.
Oh, running back. He was an excellent player in the NFL, and his first match at Impact was like, man, he should have been a wrestler forever. But yeah, McAfee did his thing. But speaking of amazing promo talent, our award for best promo talent could have went to Pat McAfee, but he didn't execute all year. But instead, it went to AEW's Eddie Kingston. Sean Farrell, what's up? Eddie Kingston, you like him?
I love Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston's promo alone finally got him the contract he's been looking for years. He was a gem everywhere he's been. He was in NWA. He was the highlight of the NWA when they brought that back for 10 minutes. But him walking out against Cody, the minute he got that microphone in his hand, that man put money in his pocket. It's hard to touch Eddie Kingston. Even when it's a crappy promo, he's so fun to watch. He's so believable. And it's just, we need more of him. Less in the ring, more on the mic is all I can do for Eddie.
Destiny,
he's from New Bedford. He just comes across like a New Bedford guy. I feel like I could go have a drink with that guy.
He's such a New Bedford guy. Like a hard city, hard streets. Destiny, what's up with Mr. Kingston? You like him?
Okay, so definitely agree with Sean. Eddie Kingston should never shut up. Ever. I could listen to that man read the phone book and it would be entertaining as fuck. And the fact that his promos are so heartfelt, like you believe that shit. Like,
yeah.
After that promo, after he lost the Mox, when he broke his phone, when he was just sitting in the locker room, when he was talking about how he told his mother, that he never got that she doesn't have a daughter-in-law because all he cared about was that I was trying to get the big one. I felt that in my soul.
Yeah, he kind of made himself a baby face after that. Because I was thinking of when we were thinking of like top heels of the year, which we'll get into pretty soon. I was like, oh, Eddie Kingston's an amazing heel. And then I was like, no, wait. He's kind of like, he is a tweener because I think he got a lot of baby face votes. And it doesn't really matter nowadays anyway. But yeah, after that promo, like you said, he was a total baby face right there. But either way, he was a tremendous promo all year. And Sean has went dark. Oh, there he is. Right there. All right. And then some of our honorable mentions. Well, the honorable mention was Bailey. Anybody want to step up? Sean Puff? Have you seen much? I haven't seen any of Bailey's promos this year. So.
The promo that they were talking about was the why I turned on Sasha Banks promo. Phenomenal. That whole storyline. The funny thing is, we've been talking about this for the past 2 years because they slow burn the hell out of it.
Maybe 3.
Maybe 3, you're right. They slow burn the hell out of this feud. But it was so worth it at the end of it. One of the best matches of the year, in my opinion, was that Sasha Bailey. Like, everything about it, the whole feud, but that promo that Bailey gave, I've never been a huge Bailey fan. But that promo, yeah, she got my respect right there because it was just that good. If you didn't see it, Google it, look it up on YouTube. It's probably on the network somewhere. I don't know how far behind they are with Raw and SmackDown, but check it out. It's definitely a promo to go watch because it was just deep and it fit the whole 3-year burn of that whole damn fight.
Well, about time, but I'm glad it worked out. Sean Farrell. No MJF on this list? How does that happen?
He's to me, he got my vote for another category. I don't know what it is.
Could have won all the categories. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
He the stuff in the inner circle, it's just kind of too goofy, and it's just, to me, missed a step. He is a phenomenal heel. He's getting there, but it just, this year was not. This was more B than A. And when you look at AEW, Eddie Kingston just took it. He took that mic and he just ran with it. It had and Bailey was my choice for women. So that promo was awesome. It's the best thing He's done a long time.
Well, speaking of, I had if I was to vote for a female promo, I went with Britt Baker because she went from like literally no mic skills whatsoever, and she started hanging out with Tony Schiavone and started calling him Starbucks employee and whatnot. And then from there, she blew up. I mean, now people are excited for her matches, and now the waiting room is a fun segment on Dark. And now we saw even Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian especially Frank Kazarian, had a tremendous promo on the waiting room. So it's kind of like she's serving that Brutus Beefcake purpose right there, or Roddy Piper's bit.
I feel like what happened with this category is people didn't vote on promo ability but I think we voted more on a specific promo. Like if you had to go back and take a promo for the year. So I see what you're saying as far as MJF. Great promos all year.
Cody's another one.
Yeah, Cody. Like they were consistent with good promos. But I think when you look at the Bayley promo and that Eddie Kingston promo, he had two of them that were fucking amazing. But I feel like that's what really got those people voted for those promos, because it wasn't as all year. Yeah, you were good at promos all year. It was more as this promo that you gave really stuck in my head, and I can think back and say this promo was amazing. I think that's just the difference in what you're explaining and how it was voted.
Well, either way,
on there.
What was that, Destiny? Sorry,
I definitely agree with Sean there, because I know that's what I was thinking. Like, yeah, MJF is a great promo all year long. Chris Jericho is a great promo all year long. Cody is a great promo all year long. I don't remember a single one of their promos from 2020, but I remember Bayley's Why I Turned on Sasha. I remember Eddie Kingston's promos.
Oh, I was just going to say we covered all the bases, though. Either way, if you want to talk promo talent or significant promos, we got it there because we're the Ringside Apostles, baby. All right, best manager of the year, Montavious, whatever his name. MVP. I can't remember.
Vontavious Porter. What kind of name is Vontavious?
All I know is he looks like Scott Gonzalez. Anyway, that's a childhood friend. Sorry about that. It's Sean. Hey, all right.
When they got that, everyone else is like, huh?
So we talked about the Hurt Business before. Were there any memorable promos from MVP, Sean Farrell?
No, again, nothing sticks out, but he's always been money on the mic. And then when he left, and wherever he went, he's landed in New Japan, when he's in Impact, his mic skills have always been impeccable. And he hopefully will be doing it for a very long time. He didn't get my vote for Manager of the Year, but you cannot deny the fact that, Hurt Business got all the gold. You got to go something.
Who did you vote for?
I voted for Paul Heyman.
Not fair.
You got to go vote for Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman is like an automatic pick every year. Even
I feel like his year was cut short.
He took the whole year off.
Roman being gone, so he had a lot of time off. Otherwise, I probably would have voted for him too.
Yeah, but when I see heel Roman, we'll talk heels and Roman in a bit. But I like Roman on the mic in that. Like I know Heyman's the man, but it's like, and I like that Heyman's with him. But I'm more interested in what Roman is saying as a heel than being like, Brock's like flexing and looking crazy. And like, I want it, like when Roman comes out, he's not real. He has kind of that mean grimace, but I want to hear Roman in this of the two. I don't want to like go to Heyman.
Yeah, Roman doesn't really need a mouthpiece when he's doing a gimmick that's just basically him. I said for a really long time that I hate Roman Reigns, the character, because he's so fucking boring. But Joe Anoa'i, he seemed like he'd be fucking great. And now we're getting Joe on the mic. And it's awesome.
I've said that forever. He was on the Jericho podcast and he was amazing. And I'm like, man, if they just let this guy go, we're going to get something that fans have been clamoring for a long time, and we are. But we're getting off track. We did talk Heyman, but Sean, either one, you can answer this question because I know you have your grievances sometimes with AEW. Do they have too many managers? I get about 12 here. Either one of you can.
I like managers. I'm a manager guy. I'm pro manager. Like when I look back, like my favorite years of wrestling were involving managers. Like, I'm a Bobby the Brain Heenan guy forever, so I'm for managers. I think AEW does a really good job with managers, and I think WWE should have more managers. Sean doesn't agree with me.
No, I think AEW doesn't use their managers at all. What has Tully done? What has Arn done besides talk to Cody behind the thing? What has Jake done? They're all just standing around collecting a check. I mean, you have Arn Anderson there. He's got,
Wait, hold on. Jake talks for Archer, who's already good on the mic. Jake
exactly.
talks.
Lance Archer doesn't need Jake the Snake, and Jake, as much as I love Jake the Snake, I've always have, he's like a step behind. And then with Tully's one of the best talkers ever, and he never gets to talk.
This last week he did, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And then they got the whole thing with Sean Spears. And then like Art, it's like they're underutilized. And it's like, oh, every time AEW's got another manager out there, but they're not doing anything with them. It's just they're just kind of there. I mean, it's great to see them. They're great that they're getting paid, but they're not doing anything.
But what about a guy, Destiny? I'm going to talk to you right now. What about Taz? Team Taz? Come on. That faction's great. Why? Because of Taz. Those guys are awesome. They're built, they're talented, they're beautiful men. But Taz comes out, ripped a new asshole into the AEW family and Cody and everything. And man, Taz has been great.
Taz is probably the best manager AEW has right now.
It's my vote. Thanks.
I'm going to say, because I was going to say, why is Vicky Guerrero there? Like, Nyla doesn't need a manager. Like the whole reason Nyla got a manager was because if you get a manager, you get a championship, right? Where's Nyla's championship? And Vicky's not doing shit for her.
Let's talk best return of wrestling. There was several, and we mentioned Roman Reigns, and he was one of our honorable mentions. But it was kind of a silly one because he beat something huge, came back babyface, and it was just finally, it was the time we could have supported him as a babyface, and he went heel. Same thing with Daniel Bryan. So silly stuff right there. Our other honorable mention was Sting. That was huge. It got the mainstream attraction. But our winner, and we're going to go Sean Farrell, is Edge at the Royal Rumble, won our best return, and I actually voted for that one.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like there was whispers and rumors maybe he might come back and all that didn't matter. That music hit, and that last big live crowd that we all got to see just went absolutely apeshit. And it was a moment for him, it was a moment for us. It was short-lived, injuries and cinematic nonsense, but he just it was great to see him back in the ring doing what it was taken from him. And he came back, and it's great that he's back, and hopefully 2021 we get a little more action with Mr. Copeland in the ring. So
yeah. Sean Puff, the best return of Edge also includes some of his matches. A lot of people didn't like the backstage brawl, but the parking lot one with Randy Orton, but I thought it was pretty good for what it was. A lot of people thought it was too long and boring, but they did have the greatest match ever, which wasn't close to being that, but it was pretty damn great.
It was a good match, but I hate Edge. So anything Edge does, I'm not gonna like. So like I don't like him. I wasn't excited about his return. When he came back, I was like, really? Edge is who this is? And I get it. Everybody marked out in the Smarky Awards. It won mark out moment of the year. So I get it. I understand it as a wrestling fan, but personally, Edge just doesn't do it for me. So
as the CEO of the Smarkies, how did you not veto that one?
I used my veto to make sure that Marco Stunt got worst male wrestler of the year. So
thankfully we don't have that category. All right. Also best return, of course, with Sting and AEW. It's Sting and Roman. I'm sorry, that was best moment. He won that too. He was an honorable mention with Sting, but he also won the best moment, which is pretty close to a best return. But the best overall moment of the year in a very down year was the return of Sting. Destiny, what do you think about that?
So that's what I voted for.
Cool.
Well, okay, so who saw that coming? Shut up, Sean.
Dirt sheet Sean over there.
It was one of those things where I don't think anyone actually saw it coming, It was just a great mark out moment. I know I popped hard in my living room. But yeah, I can't wait to see what they actually do with him, because it looks like he's not going to be a manager. They gave him a win-loss record, but they also said he's not going to be taking bumps. So
Sean Puff, you're shaking your head.
The Impact deal should have won this award. I get it. It's Sting. I get they will love Sting. It's Sting, but he's coming back to wrestle. Like, this was the moment that everyone was psyched about. What are we all
Yes,
psyched
because
about
it's
this
Sting.
But it never Sting. It would have been great 2 years ago. It would have been great if we got Undertaker versus Sting 10 years ago. Now, don't really care so much about Sting coming back to AEW. He's going to wrestle and not take bumps.
What, you don't care about Sting versus Marco Stunt or Sting versus Sammy Guevara?
All right, ready? If Sting beats the living hell out of Marco Stunt, I'm all for it. It's the only thing that I want to see Sting do. Other than that, I don't care. I think the Impact deal is so much bigger. I think it was
All
such a bigger moment for the industry in overall than Sting showing up in AEW. But I get it. It's a Marco moment. So
Yeah, Sean
Marks voted for that.
Sean F. Speaking of mark out moments, AEW and Impact, that's a fucking smart moment too. I mean, the world doesn't know Impact Wrestling right now like it did back when Kurt Angle was there, when Christian was there, no, and when Sting was there. But right now, who watches Impact?
Me, I'm watching it right now. The
20,000 people.
Me?
30,000 people on Twitch
for the tag titles.
All right, you're watching it now. You're watching it now. Tell me how many people are watching on Twitch.
4.
I'm not on Twitch. I'm watching it on Xfinity.
Oh, well, you're no fun. All right, Sean Farrell, let's talk this deal. It was a big deal.
It was. It came out of nowhere. It was surprising. It hasn't really been beneficial. It's a weird time of year. It's like, it's a quick start and stop. They grabbed some interest, grabbed some eyes, and then the following week they lost them all. I mean, that's an issue. That's with Kenny. But if this actually becomes something, if there is a trading of talent or appearances back and forth, this will be great. It'll add more more pieces to the board for both companies. AEW could definitely benefit some of their talent. Impact can use the rub from anybody they can get from any time. But I didn't see it coming. No one saw it coming, except for Don Callis and Kenny Omega, for fuck's sake. But the thing that threw me is that you had Sting's debut and then you had the AEW Impact thing. I'm like, neither one was given enough air in the room. People were talking about the one thing than the other, where me out to space them out so you'd have more attention given to each one. But it'd be fun to see like the North and Machine Guns or with the Revival. It's a lot of potential matchups. So this could be great, or it could just be nothing by come February.
Don't forget about Raju. That's who Raju, Jinder Mahal, AEW. That's who we want to see.
You and Jinder are the only two people.
Yeah, maybe on Dark. All right. I gotta say this about, I miss Don Callis on New Japan. I love Kevin Kelly. To me, is the best in the business. Of course, we didn't get a whole lot of commentary, and we'll talk commentary in just a couple seconds. But when Don Callis was there, we got that traditional, Vince McMahon and Jesse Ventura, Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby Heenan. We had those moments that we don't really get in commentary. Everyone's kind of a mark. Everyone's kind of an insider or whatever. But like at AEW, we got 3 babyface commentators, and WWE, who the hell knows? So here, we had that dynamic in New Japan. So it's nice to see Don Callis back. I love seeing him on the TV. So we'll see what's up with that. Getting into the worst moments of the year, we already mentioned Shaq. Nothing really panned out of that. I guess it may never pan out. But what about
that? Was cringe moment.
You
can't just say we mentioned Shaq. That was the worst moment of the year.
Both times he came up in AEW, they're cringeworthy. The promo where his name got dropped was like, what's going on? And then that whole thing with him and Brandy was like, why why is this on my television? Why are we watching this? It was so
And
bad.
nothing
That
gonna come
moment
from
was
it now, because even now we were gonna get what? We were gonna get a really crappy match between Brandy and Jade. Well, now we
Yep.
can't even have that because Brandy's pregnant. So
Wait, time out though.
Cody.
Did Shaq actually challenge Cody Rhodes? And does that mean we're really gonna have to sit through Cody versus Shaq at some point in 2021?
No, I hope not.
No, I think it's
don't
when
put that evil on us, Ricky Bobby.
I'm just saying, he made the challenge. That challenge was made. I heard the challenge. He challenged Cody Rhodes. I'm just praying that we don't have to see it.
well,
Clearly, it's going to
the
be the
other
one
two-
time that AEW takes something out of WWE's playbook and ignite and pretends it never happened.
Yeah, just
It's over there. It's
well,
over there.
in this case, they made the right move. Speaking of wrong moves, though, in WWE, what about those Raw ratings every week? Those are just cringe moments almost every Tuesday and Wednesday. And then also, to me, not seeing Rhea Ripley get put over at Mania. I mean, we're trying to build new stars.
Oh, that
but-
pissed me off so much.
Woo! Yep. That's a one for me in WWE. I don't know. I don't watch a whole lot of WWE, but I did watch Mania. I love Mania. I thought it was really good considering the circumstances. The 2-day event was fine, and I like Charlotte. I like her, but not seeing Ripley, who was shot to the moon, get that victory, or it just was just a bad decision.
The only thing that I enjoyed about it is in my other wrestling chat that I'm in, those guys like worship Rhea Ripley. So it was just fun watching them be so crushed by it.
Why are you so mean? Hey, we got our Don Callis on the show. There he is.
I'm a heel. I do heel shit. We all know.
All
that.
right.
You read my articles. I do heel shit.
I know. Speaking of
that, I do heel shit.
Speaking of, every Friday on GodHatesGeeks.com, except right now because we're in the holiday break, but we'll be back. Flashback Friday. Sean Puff has some of the best wrestling reviews of yesteryear. Read them. They're fucking cringeworthy laughs.
I need to do a good one. I need a good show to review.
We were talking commentators. Our best commentator of the year, good old JR. Jim Ross won the award. Sean Farrell, why Jim Ross?
well, it has to be Jim Ross.
Is it for the same reason you vote for? No, Paul Heyman. It's kind of that thing that every year it's the same person. I mean, why Jim Ross though? Why?
When Jim Ross was put out the pasture for the final time, he wasn't done. He said that he made it known. He worked for New Japan. He wasn't done there. Him and Josh Barnett carried Josh's, his bag for him. Then when he got to AEW, it was a big deal, and he brings credibility to everything he says and does. And he speaks his mind, and he is the voice of wrestling. And he's not done yet. And on that team, you have him, Shivani, and Excalibur, and it's night and day. It's Tony. You cannot deny Jim Ross. He will not be denied, and he is the best. I'm sorry, it's him, and then everybody else. It's a long list.
Destiny, did you think the same way?
Yeah. I mean, there's been times that I've cringed at some stuff that JR has said, but he's still the best going right now. His knowledge is unparalleled, and even knowing that Excalibur can be good, I've heard Excalibur be good. Excalibur is moderately good on Dark.
No, Cena! Oh wait, my bad.
He's moderately good on Dark, but and I like Tony a lot, but because I love a good straight man, and that's a big issue I have with AEW right now is you don't really have anybody on color. You need somebody on color. You don't need, if you're going to have a 3-man booth, which is bad enough, you need somebody on color, damn it.
Yeah, and Sean Puff, we were talking about this on the phone. We had a good conversation, none of this heel shit. We were talking about the 3-man booth at AEW, but we were talking about Tony Schiavone's versatility. He won our honorable mention. To me, it was my vote, not to outrun. I love good old JR. Love him. Listen to his podcast for years, but Tony Schiavone was like doing everything. Remember when Alex Marvez was in that role, and now he's still kind of just the goofy backstage guy, which is perfect. He takes some super kicks, kind of be silly. Yeah, you need that. But Tony Schiavone is that like strong arm, can just do everything. He can be in several segments. He can run in the back. He's producing. I got right on the TV on YouTube. He's got a podcast going on with Aubrey. He's just all over the place. He kind of single-handedly took on this, like the versatile role without overshadow. He's like, Jim Ross is the man. I'm not stepping on his toes. He's the guy. And Excalibur's here because he knows all the indie guys and the smarky shit and the international wrestling. But last night he deserved our honorable mention. You want to make a comment on Tony's versatility?
Who, me?
Yes, I'm talking to you. Sorry.
Matt, Tony's great. He's like that, like you said, he's that extra piece. He's the one. While JR anchors the show, Tony is that guy who you can fit wherever you need. If you need him on a commentary, he's there. If you need him backstage, he's there. I don't think that there's anybody else on that AEW roster that could fill that interviewer spot like Tony Schiavone does. He's just, he's good at that. He's awesome at that. I feel like if we had a interviewer category, it would be all Tony Schiavone. And so I'm going to also go back and say on Jim Ross, I think another thing that adds to Jim Ross is Jim Ross has that the on-screen persona, but he also has the thing he does with Conrad. And when he does with Conrad Thompson, he's just no holds barred. He says what he needs to say. He tells people that they fit their balls in a thimble, and he doesn't hold back. So he's not that. He's good old JR, but we all know how JR really feels, and I think that puts him to that next level because
that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, he's going to be professional and handle his business, but at the same time, he'll tell you how he really feels.
Right. Especially now that he's working for Tony and not for Vince, he's kind of given that leverage. But I got to say my favorite commentary team was Tony Schiavone and Y2J, Chris Jericho together for those 2 weeks we had. And those like kind of when the pandemic hit and there was no crowd, we had those two guys. And it was like the way Jericho and Tony would Tony's total straight man, as Destiny mentioned, and Jericho was like really in him. And then when they kind of try to do that again with Jim Ross and Excalibur, is too many monkeys in the barrel. You know what I mean? So it was better off. Then maybe someday when they get the second show, we can keep, Jim Ross and Excalibur have kind of built something rapport there, but then bring Tony and, Jericho, or maybe even Jericho can't do it every week. We'll bring in MJF. I wouldn't mind that. Or even, we'll fit Taz in. Taz is a guy who's, he's doing dark, but he's kind of that color commentator heel guy that we could use. So there's a lot of versatility there for another program.
Why is The Rock on Impact right now?
What's that?
Sorry. The Rock is on Impact right now. I just looked over on my screen on the side, and The Rock is on my TV screen.
The Rock is on Impact. Breaking news.
I don't know why, but what's happening right now.
Okay. And there's Sean. He's turning it on his phone. He's like, Sean has left the chat, and he's like watching Impact. All right.
The Rock, let's go.
All right, let's rock and roll. The best babyface of the year. Cody won. Cody was my male wrestler of the year. He didn't win that award, but he won best babyface. Sean Farrell, what do you think of the face of AEW winning best babyface?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get my vote, but he's been consistent. He's had the best storylines. He's a pure babyface. He tried being heelish and didn't deal it. They didn't accept it, and he's got his lot is to be the face, and he's got to be the baby face. So yeah, it's a close race, but it had to be him.
Who did you vote for?
I voted for Drew McIntyre.
Okay, he didn't get an honorable mention, but Matt Riddle did. Sean Puff, Matt Riddle. Ever since he left NXT, I haven't seen anything except for that pretty good match against AJ Styles that when he got the win and that upset win on SmackDown in his debut. But other than that, I haven't seen much of Riddle. I've heard some hit and miss things with Mr. Matt.
So here's how I look at this. And I voted for Matt Riddle. So here's how I look at this. I don't look at the faces. Who's the face of the company? I get it. Yeah, Cody's the face of the company. But he's not a face. When you watch Cody, watch his promos, watch how he acts, he doesn't do face things. He's not a face. Matt Riddle, is bringing donuts and handing bro nuts out to his tag team partners before a match. He's a face. He's the funny guy. He's the guy that you look at and you're like, oh, he's fun. He's awesome. Everybody loves him because he's the face. Cody, not a face. He's a heel in sheep's clothing. But Matt Riddle should have got face because he's a face. He's got bro nuts. What is it like?
All right, bro.
Come on, bro.
All right, bro. Hey, bro. Bro.
So that could be it.
Bro, Destiny. I went with as my best baby face. He carried the company as the best baby face. It was a Stone Cold type baby face.
Cody's more of a baby face than Moxley is.
Destiny, what do you think of Moxley? Won an honorable mention with Riddle. What do you think of Moxley as a pick?
No, he's definitely a good face. I voted for Cody, but no, Mox is definitely a great face. He's been cutting some really good face promos, which is so funny because I remember when he was such a great heel. But yeah, Mox is a great face. You can't really, I honestly can't really say much about it other than, yeah, he's good. He carried the company. Totally. He's a great champ. Yeah. He's a great champ. I hope he and Renee have a really cute kid. I voted for Cody.
Cool. All right. I know Sean wants to talk.
I just want to say something real quick. I looked over to my TV again. The reason Rock was on the screen is they're just re-showing Ken Shamrock's Hall of Fame thing from a couple months ago. No big deal. Don't go tune into Impact for it.
Thanks for interrupting the Apostle Awards for that Sean Puff moment, but we're going to stick with you here because we're talking the best heels with our best heel, Sean Puff, and we're going to talk MJF. He pretty much won. Swept. I mean, is there any debate? It's MJF.
No, those don't. Like, I feel like this didn't even have to be voted on. When I did, like, as you guys know, I had to send a few things out to people because we had some that were really close, some that were ties. This one, I don't know that anybody else got. I'm going to look it up, but I'm pretty sure that in the votes, nobody voted for anybody other than MJF.
Wow. And not everybody, not even Jadaro? He doesn't even watch AEW.
He was one of the people. So some of the people that voted didn't vote for everything. They
just
voted for what they felt that they could.
Well, he should have went with Roman then. Isn't he watching WWE? I would have went Roman as an honorable mention.
I'm looking it up right now. Best deal.
I've only watched.
I voted for Roman.
Yeah. Now, Sean Farrell, I've only watched, honestly, because I'm not watching, like I said, WWE mainstream, the main rosters. But whenever I see Roman, I'm gratified.
You remember when Roman was pushed down everyone's throat and Vince insisted on making him a face and we all hated him. We all hated Roman. It wasn't Roman's fault. He never has bad matches. He never had bad promos. He just wasn't who we wanted. Everyone wanted Daniel Bryan. And then, but that was then. And now that he's leaned into it, he's become the bad guy and it's perfect. He is despicable. He's dangerous and he's a heel. He does heelish shit. He's got his underlings doing his bad work for him. The match with Kevin Owens on the cage match, he just dropped down, had that smirk on his face, like, fuck you, nothing you can do about it, and walks away. It was wonderful. And as great as MJF is as a heel, Roman got my vote because he embraced the dark side. He is he's a bad guy. And he's fun to watch. He's the best thing on SmackDown, which is why SmackDown is WWE's best show, head and shoulders above everything else.
I love that he's a bad guy because that kind of, like, you didn't even realize what you just did, but you just played off his old little thing. Like, I'm not a good guy. I'm the guy. You're like, he's just a bad guy. Like, you unknowingly played off of that. And that was
okay. It's subliminal. It's working. It's working. So
yeah. I expect him to win that award next year for us. Best heel of the year.